Cybersecurity threats, they are up at an alarming level, and it's for obvious reasons. The world changed because of COVID, and we need to change in the way that we think about how we protect ourselves from these security threats that are continuing to bombard our ever-growing list of devices. Tim Falinsky is the Managing Director of Consumer for Trend Micro APAC, and he joins us today to talk about what is going on with the world of cybersecurity. How are you, Tim?
I'm wonderful, Charlie. Thanks for having me here today.
Good to have a chat to you. Thank you for joining us. The interesting thing is the world has moved on from COVID in that our lives are now part of this new normal, right? So COVID caused the shock, changed our behaviors, and we are at this new normal of life that's going on. And it's obviously changed so much about what we do. What we're also seeing is a growth in cybersecurity threats as well. What are the top line things that we've seen changed in the last 12 months especially?
So over the last 12 months, Charlie, we saw an increase in cyber threats, which actually was at a far greater rate than we have seen in previous years. So the cyber threats were up some 20% year on year from 2020 to 2019 to 119,000 threats per minute that we were blocking on our network. And if you think about that, that it's just an inordinate number that's gone out there. But as you mentioned, it's not just the fact that the threats were up 20%. It's the way that the threats were coming in at us. And we have seen an alteration in those to see more threats actually targeted at the home, and also an evolving way that some of the threats that we've known about for a while, such as ransomware, where that's now evolved to be a double extortion ransomware. So they actually have two ways of extracting the money from you.
Well, let's drill in on a couple of these things, because most of us now have some kind of a hybrid work arrangement where we're working at work and we're working at home. And that's obviously opened a few doors or potential ramps for people to come and attack us, attack the business. We've seen some high profile attacks happening even just here in Australia. There's been some global ones as well, an oil pipeline, for example, in the United States. We're seeing those big examples, but we're also seeing those little examples as well. So talk to me about just drilling in on how they've changed in the detail, because not only are you protecting us, you're also counting the volume of attacks that we're getting as well through your software. So tell us about what's going on a minute level, what we should be worried about.
Well, probably the biggest change we saw last year, as you're mentioning, is the fact that with the norm now that people are working from home, right? So we may go to the office, but, the average is about 2-3 days a week. A few industries is more than that, and some people are working 5 days a week remotely. And we're seeing this through, the migration of people now moving out of units into homes, home prices go up, etc. But underlying about that is not just the fact that we're working at home, is the fact that as a country, we haven't had far to travel. We can now go to New Zealand, but we've really been stuck inside our own homes and our own states in many cases. That if you look what else is going on, and this is a global phenomenon, is that everyone has spent more time and energy at home, which means that those home renovation projects that we've put off for a while have come through. And a lot of that behind it, if you talk to some of the leading hardware manufacturers, is there's been a massive growth in what we term connected home. So people are installing devices to make their houses smarter, make them better to live in, from anything from webcams to doorbells to light globes to everything else behind that. And the cyber criminals have picked up on this. And the key part about that is that most of these devices, people don't realize are running on a bit of software that can get updated, have security flaws, and don't get patched. And unlike our phones, which we see the update from Apple or Google come out often, unlike our PCs from, like whether it be the Mac OS or the Windows, and we always see these patches happening in the background, your light globe doesn't patch. Your Arlo camera system needs help to patch. So none of this kind of stuff gets updated. And the cyber criminals are exploiting that. And with our connected homes, even though we saw a 20% increase overall in cyber attacks last year, we saw a 210% increase in attacks on homes. And if we look at all the homes that we're protecting, that is virtually 1 in 6 homes were attacked. And the number of attacks was around 6.2 billion last year alone into the home. Every one of these connected devices is like adding another doorway for the cyber criminal to get inside to your home.
You as a business have been working for a number of years of providing device level security, but then you're also trying to spread out to capture all of those on-ramps as you describe them and protect them at that level. One of the things that you've done is you've added this $99 ultimate kit. Well, tell me about that. Tell me what it does, and tell me what the idea behind putting that in to your home is aiming to help.
Well, one of the things we saw in 2020 is that people are more worried than ever. So we've added dark web monitoring, to let you know when your identity's been out there and shopped around on the dark web. And, we can inform you anywhere from 24, 36 hours to 2 months before the company may let you know that your data's out on the dark web. The people want complete solutions. So we've simplified our product into 2 main branding, our device security and also our home security. And then what we did with what we saw in these statistics with a massive increase behind everything that goes on inside the home and the number of people making connected homes is we made the ability to add home protection, or the ultimate side of our product offering, in stores for only $99, which is a greatly reduced price from where we used to sell it at around $199. But the main part about that is that if you want protection and you're worried about what's happening with your identity and everything else behind it, it's just an easy way just to include the whole of the home. And then you don't need to worry about your Light Globe or your Arlo camera system or whatever, because we're protecting the network with which the cyber criminals can go through to access those devices. So if you can protect it at the router, at the hub of the network, then even a compromised device cannot send information out and vice versa. And by giving that protection, it auto-patches for you. You don't need to worry about what the latest operating system is. You should patch. I'm not saying not to, but we can catch things on the fly for you. And you're getting some business-grade style of network protection products that you used to have when you'd have your PC at work into your home network, just to give you that extra level of protection from what's going on. Because, it's if they get access to your Light Globe or your Arlo camera system or your doorbell, in essence, those particular products may not worry you too much, but then you go and do your internet banking on that same network, and what they're doing is they're waiting to watch for that. So hence the reason why this is just becoming more and more important for people.
I mean, the other thing that the Ultimate Kit also assists families with, Tim, is that it's got some of those parental controls built into it as well that assist families in an environment where their kids are more exposed to screens and screen time, pull factors than ever before as well. So it's not just that idea of cyber security, you're also providing more tools to families to better manage their device connectivity overall as well.
Well, yeah, look, behind all of this, we're also seeing that people love to control everything inside their home from their phones and from apps. So the little home network security box is actually driven by an app which allows you to gain control. Even for something as simple as that if someone comes over and tries to join your network, you can select whether or not to allow them to join, to actually giving time limits to your kids on what they do. So in a way, you can say to them they can have 2 hours on their Xbox a day, and after that 2-hour time limit, the internet connection to the Xbox will cut off. And with most games being played online these days, it's not you that have to go and fight them and has it been 2 hours or hasn't it been 2 hours? It's all automatic and done. And then a recent enhancement that we've done to the Guardian product is that also you can add a little app onto their mobile phones so that when they leave the home with that device, those protections continue with them outside of the home, which a lot of parents were asking us for. So therefore, we can protect the kids both inside and outside the home as they're going around, and it can all be done from the ease and use of a simple app on the parent's phone. Yeah,
it's, as I said at the start, it is a new normal that we're all living in today. It's good to see that you guys are continuing to upgrade your product roadmap and product options. There's a whole bunch of Trend Micro options around for you to have a look at. Device Security Ultimate is one name to remember when you're going into your local retail store that sells consumer electronics and Trend Micro products. Tim Filinsky, good to have a chat to you today. Thanks for taking us through the threats that are out there and the solutions that you're providing for everybody across the country and across the world.
Thank you very much for having me, Charlie.